music.
Hello and happy Monday.
Happy Goal Call Monday. I'm super excited because I am starving and I'm going to cook for you guys today. I am going to be making a tofu scramble, and I'll show you how I decide to like what I'm going to put, like what ingredients I'm going to use. I always have a couple staples, so I'll talk about that as well. But while I'm cooking, you guys, we are always here on Mondays for Goal Call Monday. We're starting week 3 of Happy New Year, and I'm super excited. I did yoga this morning, but I haven't done my Happy New Year. I'm going to get down in the gym later this afternoon, early evening, to like pump it up and pump up this little Happy New Year.
You got a good New Year going into this new year.
Whoop whoop. All right. So should I start?
Yeah, go ahead and start.
Okay, and what are your goals, Marcia, before I start?
Yeah, so my goals this week is we obviously have a big schedule. Just continue working with that. I'm always trying to work on my stress management and my sleep. You guys, my husband's on vacation, not vacation, but he actually kind of retired from his other job. He got fully vested, kind of like quit his job. He said he was taking a year off. And I'm like, first I was like, good for you. Now I'm like, when are you going back to work? He's already been off a complete month, actually 5 or 6 weeks, and he's driving me bonkers. I can take him to a certain point, y'all, but I was like, you need to find a hobby. You need to go golf. You need to go shooting. You need to do something. So I'm trying to push my husband like while I'm trying to work. So that's part of my stress management, is having my husband go do something and I told him, I said, even me, you and I work so much. I'm like, I want a hobby that I'm not getting paid for, just a hobby. I don't want to turn my hobby into like some passion where I'm making money. They say turn your hobby into your side hustle. I just want to do something for fun. And mine is usually something artistic or creative. And, it's like photography is really fun for me. So I want to sign up for a photography class or just shoot my friends for free, just experiment. And I was like, you need to find yours too. I said, this is part of our marriage goals. Like, obviously we have our goals together, like find something together, then find stuff separately because you need your own, life outside your spouse. So, so my stress management, trying to get my husband on board. I feel like he's trying to unprogram from his condition, like his programmed workday. He's really having a hard time getting out of it. And it's kind of crazy to see that about somebody. And I feel like, I'm in work mode and he's like, well, how come you're not da-da-da? And I'm like, honey, I'm working. Like I'm not on a vacation. So you guys, next week is our anniversary. I promised a week off with him just to hang out, to do something. So we're going to hang out next week. And so I'm taking vacation next week. We're not going anywhere special. We're just staying in Dallas and just around town, just like working out and eating healthy and maybe finding a hobby to do together. Because Keith and I don't really have anything together to do, like as a hobby. We're like trying to find that out. So think about like in your own life, like think about like you're busy, your husband's busy, your kids are busy. Sometimes it's hard, except for maybe to have dinner together. Like that's all you have, right? But I was like, we need something outside of just eating food together. We don't have any kids. We all have ample free time. So yeah. And when I say stress management, it is crazy. Like when you change, any kind of change is stressful, and any kind of schedule where you're just trying to manage a new schedule of change is hard. So remember, we always talk about choose your hard, guys. Choose your heart and making these things come to action. Like this is the year we're just not going to talk about it. We're actually going to do it. So it's very interesting. So yes, sleep and stress management, which I have to say my sleep was going well until I was like kind of crazy. I know. And well, my little dog, Rocky, is not having a good time recently. I mean, he's been doing so good for a good year, man, or at least a year and a half. He had a scare a while back, but now he's in this mode of waking up. And lately he's 17. So he's kind of going through a rough time. It's like having a senior, like a grandparent, and you're a caretaker. He's waking me up in the middle of the night. So I have not slept very good in 4 nights. I'm like, okay, this is not off to a good start as of last week, but that's what we're here for Goal Call Mondays, to change our goals, restructure, and see how we can go like get our goals, but a different route. That's what it's all about. Remember, you can always change the route. The goal can stay the same, but how are you going to get there? Right?
100%. And that's almost always the case, is like we think that getting to the goal is going to be some straight line, and every single time it's like detours, like doing all kinds of craziness. So I love that you guys are working through that. Oh, poor Rocky.
I know.
Marcia and I usually talk every day, and last week was so crazy. We didn't even talk that much. And I saw on her Instagram that little Rocky was not doing well. I'm like, oh, that's hard.
Yeah, but I've come to like terms and peace with it. I mean, he'll pass at some point. He's 17, y'all. I don't even know when he will, but the time is coming. I am preparing myself too, for sure, because I mean, he's having a really good life as a senior dog. I cannot say he has not. He's living the creme de la creme life.
Yes.
I am the best caretaker. And him getting up in the morning, like you guys, it's kind of interesting. I hate, like TMI, but he's having diarrhea and he's throwing up, and they don't know what's wrong with him. And so I don't know. You know what I mean? Who knows? He's been on meds for 5 years, which is very, very long time for a dog to be on heart meds. I didn't know this. The span is usually within, they said 13 months to up to like 24 months is the longest, you know what I mean? Like
Wow.
2 years. If you go any past 2 years on heart meds, it's a miracle. And they said, every day is Rocky Day. This is a miracle. You should enjoy it. He definitely has great genetics for a dog, and you're taking care of him. Like, this point, he's living off love. So, I'm like, you know what? He's really good. I mean, yes, my sleep's going to be sacrificed for a little bit, but I feel like I'm sacrificing my sleep for the greater good. He's totally worth it. And I put that meme on my, do you see the meme that I put? Yeah, you were laughing at it. But the meme that I put on my stories, I was like, I don't like to brag about my trips, but about my expensive trips, but I just came back from the vet. Like, when you have a sick dog, going to the vet costs a lot of money, so they're a little more costly, but totally worth it. Anyway, so it is what it is, you guys. You got to roll with the punches. And this is my year, hey, I can get some sleep in a different way. Maybe I got to take a nap in the day because he's going to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning. And it's so funny when you see my sleep score, you're like, it's when I cryo, and I was cryoing every day 5 days last week. I did cryo, and 3 of those nights I did not sleep good just because of Rocky. But otherwise, I would have slept like a drain.
Wow. No, but that is, thank God for cryo, because it was like helping with your sleep. It's so crazy.
Yes. But what are your goals, Jackie? And let's talk about this tofu scramble you're making.
Yes. Let me start with the tofu scramble, and then I'll get to the goals. So 2 things that I always have, well, I have a couple things that I always have in my tofu scramble, but I always preheat the pan. And it's a nonstick pan, so I don't have to use any oil. I don't have to use any low sodium veggie broth to saute anything. And I heat the pan and I add 2 cloves of this garlic. I actually get this from, where do I get it from? From Trader Joe's. So I get the garlic, I get 2 of those, and I put 1 of the gingers in as well. So it tastes good. And I literally don't have to put any seasonings in, but I am putting some seasonings today, because the garlic and the ginger are so freaking delicious. And then for my veggies, I always get whatever I have in my freezer. Literally, I almost always have these mushrooms from Trader Joe's. They're one of my favorite. They are so tasty. There's so many different, it's a mushroom medley. There's a bunch of different mushrooms in there. And then today I'm also using these stir-fry vegetables. And then I also like to have some kind of peppers in there. So I usually get some frozen peppers. Sometimes I get the fire roasted peppers, but today it's just regular. So we have a lot of Dr. B fans in our Plant Chicks tribe on YouTube, on our Instagram page. And if we were counting plant points like they do in Fiber Fuel, just between the garlic and the ginger, which have some really, really good health benefits. So that's 2 plant points. I've got 3 different peppers. So that's 5. This veggie stir fry has pea pods, bean sprouts, bamboo shoots, soybeans, water chestnuts, carrots, and mushrooms. And then I've got another mushroom medley with a couple different types of mushrooms. So I'll say 2 more. So I'm already at 14. I can't even count. I'm like, how many is that? I'm already at 14 plant points, but I'm going to add in a couple extra things. So while I'm kind of letting the veggies cook and thaw, I like Yeah.
I just want to cut in for a second and just to notice you guys, she's making something that's healthy in a hurry. You see her she got 3 packaged foods. Now these are cleaner packaged foods. She got tofu, veggies, and mushrooms. So just FYI, she's not making anything from scratch. She's not pressing her own tofu. There's no fresh fruits or vegetables. Sometimes frozen is better than fresh. Just
Not
FYI.
sometimes, it really is, because
Yes.
usually the frozen foods, they're picked at peak ripeness and then they're flash frozen. So there's like minimal processing in most of them. Like if you get additional sauces and gravies and stuff like that, then that's not always the best. But if you get them plain, and this one does have some oil and some garlic in it, but these are just straight up veggies. So frozen vegetables are a very, very good nutrient dense source. But I've got some other stuff over here that I'm going to add in there. So go ahead.
No, I just want to point that out, like how easy it could be. You could buy these things and like she's making it right, like on this live right in front of you. Think about the theme, healthy in a hurry. Like how can you be healthy in a hurry? And this is a really good way to do that.
Yes. And one of the things, so I put in a lot. So I have like a half to a third of the bag of each of these veggies. Look, like these are finally done because I made them over the course of several times, right? But I make a huge batch of this, and it usually lasts anywhere between 2 and 3 meals. So then that is even healthier in a hurry because I put the leftovers in the fridge, and then I can come back to them and grab it for breakfast tomorrow or maybe dinner for another meal or whatever. But I'm going to actually add, one of the things I also always have in my tofu scramble is I add turmeric because this is really good, like an anti-inflammatory. You can't even see that on there. And some pepper, because pepper helps absorb the curcumin, the good stuff from the turmeric. And I just sprinkle. And I put the turmeric in. I mean, the main reason I'm putting it in is for the anti-inflammatory purposes. But also, since this is like a tofu scramble, I want to make the tofu like a little bit yellow, like eggs. So this gives it that color. But I haven't even added in my tofu yet. So I'm just sprinkling some of this in, and I might add a little bit more turmeric later, depending. And make sure you guys like taste what you're doing, because turmeric can have like a strong flavor. Not everyone likes turmeric. So play around with it and see. Okay, so now these veggies, they're getting soft. They're all like mushed up. And one of the things I love, so I'm using the organic super firm tofu. You can get it at any of your local grocery stores. And I love the firm tofu because of the consistency of it. And I love it in a tofu scramble. I've used soft. You can use whichever you want. But I really do love the super firm just for the consistency. But what you do, and I used half a block for this little tofu scramble, you just pick it up apart and you crumble it. So it looks like scrambled eggs.
Yes. I do want to add to that. So I did have one time I was making a scramble and one of our plant chicks said, how did you crumble it like that? And so I just want to specify there's 3 types of tofu. There's that soft one, the silken one. There's like a medium one that's a little softer. And then there's the firm one. The firmest one you can get is the one that you can crumble. And she didn't have any idea. So if you don't have any idea on that, there are different types of tofu.
Yes, very good point. And one of the reasons I also like the super firm is it's less watery. Like literally the water, most of the water has been pressed out. So I do like it. Like it's a consistency, it's a texture thing for me. But I have used like a softer tofu in here. Like I always get the sprouted tofu from Trader Joe's because sprouting can offer more like enzymes and different nutrition. So I kind of like to change it up in that respect. Now, remember, tofu is made from soybeans. And getting back to those plant points for our Dr. B lovers, there's already soybeans in one of these veggies I threw in. So I don't get another plant point for this because I already have soybeans in. So I'm still at 14 plant points, which is really good.
I know. Just think if she's doing that in one meal, a lot of people do not get that in 1 week. So just FYI. Yeah, so it's very easy to add more plants to your plate. That's why we always talk about counting plants, not calories, right? If you're eating quality calories, then count plants. And then when you count that, you're adding to your, like, what can you add to your plate, right? What can it's because a lot of people look at it and they're thinking, oh, I'm taking away this, I'm deleting this from my diet. If you think about it that way, it's going to be extreme. Think about what you can add to your plate, not minus your plate.
That is right. I love that. Love that. Love that. So I'm just giving this a quick little stir since I added the tofu. And lately, you guys, I have been obsessed with tomatoes. Cooking my tomatoes. It adds like a sweetness to the dish. So I'm adding in tomatoes. And another reason I like to add in some tomatoes is they're good. They're a good source of vitamin C, and they can help absorb the not the vitamin C. Sorry, the peppers are vitamin C, which are going to help absorb any iron that's in the foods any of the plant foods that I have in here. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to add some lentils because I have
so good.
You guys, this lentil brick is like to die for from Trader Joe's. It's like perfectly seasoned. I can literally eat these by the spoonful, but I need to use these up. So I'm going to put in some more of the lentils. Seriously, they're so freaking delicious.
And here's another point I want to point out. Jackie's adding tofu, which is high in protein. She's adding lentils, which is high in protein. And then some other random vegetables like mushrooms are high in protein. So think about it. You've got these 3 foods that are very high in protein. She's not lacking in protein at all.
No, this is actually a super high protein meal, which is crazy.
Super high protein, and the protein is attached to fiber. She's got 14 points, plant points, and there's probably, if you could add it up, maybe about 10 grams of fiber, I want to say, roughly. We'd have to read the back of the package, but at least maybe
more than that.
And there might be more than that. I mean, sometimes we can get like 50 to 60 grams of fiber in a day, easy. Sometimes 80 without even thinking about it.
100%. And I think I'm up to 15 plant points because I got those tomatoes in here. But you guys, this is another obsession of mine. And I don't always use the bitchin sauce, but this is bitchin sauce. You get it like in the big giant container.
Oh, it's in a big container. I'm like, mine.
Costco has the big container. So I'm going to stir it up a little bit. I'm going to put in a couple spoonfuls of this. And these are like healthy spoonfuls. So this is like a fact. This is definitely not, this is an expensive food, you guys. I mean expensive in calories. So you have to be mindful if you're like watching your weight or if you're watching inflammation, then you want to be very mindful and not use a lot of that. So I am just going to stir this up, get everything well seasoned.
If you're on here, let us know where your goals are. This is Goal Call Monday. Jackie and I wanted to do something different. We know that we always talk about goals, but we also want to teach you about nutrition, right? Sometimes we're going to have fitness on here because the Plant Chicks are about a lifestyle. So we have fitness, food, fun, mindset, and we want to get to know you. What are your goals this week? And then how do you think you're going to achieve them? So those are something to think about.
That is right. So now I'm going to cook it for about 5 minutes so I get to talk to you guys. It's on medium heat. And this is when the tomatoes will get all juicy and delicious. Literally, they add like this little sweet component to the tofu scramble, and it's so good. I'm so obsessed with cooked tomatoes in my dishes right now. And cooking tomatoes actually releases the lycopene better. So you get a little bit better nutrients when you cook your tomatoes versus eating them raw. Some foods are better like raw. You get better nutrition or higher nutrition. And then some you get a little bit higher nutrition when they're cooked. It just kind of depends on the food. So I can't wait for this to cook and marinate and be delicious. I'm going to add a little bit of hemp seed to have a little bit more healthy fat on there. And then I have a side of blueberries. So that is going to take me up to 17 plant points for this one dish. which is crazy town. And when we talk about plant points, like the reason we talk about that, not just because of Dr. B, although we do love him, but the reason we talk about plant points, or like the number of different plant foods that you eat in a day, in a week, is the American Gut Project. They talk about, or this is like the largest gut microbiome study to date, and they showed that if you eat 30 different plants, 30, in a week, over the course of the week, then you're going to have a very good and diverse gut microbiome, which can help protect you. It can help like improve your health. It can help decrease inflammation. Inflammation is a silent killer, so that's a good thing. Now, although Marcia and I were the plant chicks, and y'all are plant chicks as well, not everyone in our tribe, not everyone on YouTube, not everyone is plant-based. It's not like 100% plant-based. And guess what? With eating 30 different plants throughout the week, you don't have to be 100% plant-based, just as long as you're getting those 30 different plants in. And again, with this meal, I'm at like 16 or whatever I said, plant points. So I'm already halfway there for the week. So I just have to add in like a couple extra different plants to get up to my 30 for the week. And that is incredible. And that helps give me energy, helps me to not rely on the coffee so much that I have been relying on. And then it will help me make those better decisions about getting up, getting to the gym, doing the next right thing, saying no to the candy, saying no to the whatever, and saying yes to me and yes to my health. So super excited for that. And I can't wait. Literally, you guys, I'm so hungry. It's noon 22 and your girl has not eaten yet.
I know. I haven't eaten. I just had my decaf coffee and my water. So
I've had my caffeinated coffee and my elixir and my all that stuff, but no, I'm hungry. And my goal this week, I've got a lot going on, as like what you were saying. So it's just staying on track and staying focused. So Charles and I, Marcy's going on vacation next week, and my husband and I were doing South Africa the end of next month. I can't believe February is tomorrow.
I cannot believe it either. Like, it's so shocking. I was looking, it's the 31st.
I know, it's so crazy. But we just got an email from our people in South Africa. So we've got to like plan our COVID test. We're actually going to do 2 right before we travel. So depending on wherever you travel, you have to have a negative PCR test within 72 hours of arrival. So we're going to take one, we're going to take 2 tests before we go. We're going to do one Wednesday. We fly out Thursday night. So we're going to take one Wednesday morning and then also Friday morning, because we have like a long layover in London. We're actually staying in a hotel there before we actually get to South Africa. So we don't technically get to South Africa until Saturday morning. And just in case the times are wonky, we want to make sure that we have like a 72-hour test. So I've also got emails out to my doctor to find out what all we need to have. And like we just have a lot going on, even though that's a month away, still planning for that and planning for everything that Marcy and I have on our plate, which is good and crazy. And I'm so happy that we had like this little tiny cold spell in Miami, and it's not all the way on, but it's getting warmer. Went to yoga this morning. It felt great. I was all bundled up. And then after yoga, I actually had on another sweater over this. And it was actually warm walking home. I'm like, thank you.
You know what? It's going to snow here on Thursday.
What?
Yeah.
No.
It's going to snow in Dallas on Thursday. Yeah, we were looking at the weather and we were like, oh my goodness, this is craziness. So today's actually going to be 63, so which is amazing. It's going to go down on Wednesday to 32 and then 21 on Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be 32, Thursday's 21, and it's going to snow. And that's 100% chance. I'm like,
wow. And it does not snow in Dallas. That's great. Or rarely snows in Dallas.
Rare. Yeah, I mean, it will do every couple years. It snows maybe anywhere from December to February. Those are the 3 months that it picks. It could be like one Christmas, we were like a white Christmas. We were like, woohoo! And it was a New Year's one year. It was kind of funny, but it always hits at least every couple years, at least 1 or 2 times. Wow. So it's going to hit it this time. And we're all like, let's go shopping for some comfort food. Hello, hello. We're going to go shopping for some comfort food today, my husband and I, because we thought this week is going to be one of those crazy weeks just to stay inside and cook something hot, delicious. So who is on here? We see Facebook.
And I want you guys to know, so already my tofu scramble is done, and I know it's done. I put the lid on and I cooked it for like 5 minutes on medium heat, but I know it's done because the tomatoes are kind of like, they're looking like they're a little bit like getting to be explosive. Actually, I'm going to cook it a little bit longer because not all of them are looking that way. So I'm going to do a couple more minutes, and then that's literally it. I literally just made a tofu scramble in front of you guys, and you saw how quick that was. It did not take long at all. We're at 16, 17 plant points. I don't know if I counted the lentils. We have to go back in and count.
So Annette's on here. Hello, Annette. So hello.
What's up, Annette?
Yeah, what are your goals this week, Annette? We want to see. We want to hear. So did you accomplish your goal last week? So think of these things. Yeah.
And like what you're saying, I'm so glad you said that, Marcy, and we need to start bringing that up more. Like, how did you do on your goals last week? Did you accomplish them? If so, like what was helpful in getting you there? And maybe what if you didn't, whatever, but what stopped you from getting to some of the goals? Like realizing and recognizing what worked and what didn't work. And did you need to make a Plant Chicks pivot? Like, where do you need to make some changes? How can you up the ante or whatever? Like, I'm so glad you asked that, Marcia. That was brilliant.
Yes, one of our Plant Chicks is doing Prolon this week. So I know I was supposed to do it. Every time I do it, something comes up, and then I was like, I'll do it next week. My husband's like, you're on vacation with me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can't do Prolon on vacation with you. So that ain't going to happen. So I'm going to see if I can do it like the third week, if I can have some time, because I really want to do Prolon. I haven't did it in quite some time. It's been maybe 5 or 6 months since I've done Prolon. And I would like to do that reset just to kind of, just get back on track.
Oh, just think what that's going to do to your pictures too. Marcia creating these daily like bikini pictures. So cool. I can't wait.
It is the 31st day. And I will say this, I have had no caffeine. Well, I've had decaf, but not like full caffeine. So I was very proud of myself. Decaf coffee. So no caffeine, extreme caffeine. And then number 2, no sugar. And then number 3 was no alcohol. But that's kind of hit or miss for me. It's not a big deal. But none of those things for my health goals, right? I don't want to put any of those things in, because sometimes it's, not what you put in your body. It's also what you don't put in your body, right? Yeah. So none of that stuff. And you guys, I have so much energy. I feel way better. I've added cryo consistently from 3 to 5 days a week, which I'm very proud of every single week. I've worked out yoga, Peloton, or strength training, probably 5 to 6 days a week, which is crazy. It's like insane. Like tonight, I'm going to yoga tonight. So like I was supposed to do Peloton this morning, but I had a dog issue, so always something with the dogs though. But anyway, I was like, I'll sacrifice my 30 minutes to clean up your situation. I was kidding.
Lucky you.
I know. Lucky me. No. So anyway, so I was pretty proud this entire month. I started off January. I would say whatever that Monday of January was actually my first start of the month. So good. I'm very, very proud of myself because I've written down my personal goals. I have my, business goals, my marriage goals, and my health goals. I have these different categories. I literally have like 9 categories of where I want to be better in, right? If you're 1% better today, you're going to be 1% better or more tomorrow. So I'm so proud of myself in the 4 weeks of January, everything that I wanted to achieve. And this is like big. It's exciting for me. So it's like, okay, I actually want to continue this on February, except for my husband and I will be having our celebratory. We have our 9-year anniversary. We have our 19-year anniversary on February 9th is what I'm saying. 19th anniversary on from our first date, you guys, our blind date. February 9th, 2003 is when we met, before iPhones and Google and all that stuff. We had no idea what each other looked like. We went on a blind date. We've been together ever since. And I'm like, we're going to go celebrate that. So I probably will have some type of like sugary dessert or something, not a big bunch, but maybe just a couple bites on that front. But I'm continuing with the decaf for sure. But I do want to celebrate, keep that sugar to a celebratory, situation. So that's where I'm at on that. But I'm excited.
That is huge. That is so huge. And that takes like serious commitment to not have caffeine, number one, but no caffeine, no refined sugar, and no alcohol. Like those are all huge. And you're getting your cryo in too, which is so freaking amazing.
And let me tell you something. I've been taking a picture every single day of my body in a bathing suit because I'm eliminating some of that stuff, adding, obviously more fruits and vegetables, tons more water. Let me tell you something. When I drink coffee, I'm not as thirsty. Now that I don't drink coffee, I'm just 1 cup of decaf, which has like 20 milligrams of caffeine. And I don't have it every day. Like I'm not drinking decaf every day. Sometimes I do tea instead because I'm trying to wean myself off of it, like the coffee thing. And let me tell you, I have these liters, right? Usually I can drink about 2 to 3 in a day. I'm like drinking 5. And I'm like, I didn't realize how dehydrated I was. My skin is looking better. I'm more cut of my body. My abs are more cut. My cellulite is going away. It is, and this is in 31 days. I started the first Monday of January. That's just 4 weeks. And I was just taking it day by day because my downfall is not the sugar. It's not the alcohol. It's caffeine is my downfall. And it's like, I can get in these things where I feel like a drug addict. Like I get off of it for a while and then I get back on it. Then I get off of it. Then I get back on it. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with coffee, but without coffee, I can manage my stress. I don't have anxiety. It's bad. We'll say that. My anxiety is minimized. I can sleep better without the caffeine. My skin is looking better. And then my entire body and my energy levels have soared up, where caffeine gives you that. I always feel hungover every single day till I get my caffeine and it perks you up. You just go boom. And then, when Jackie comes in town or special occasions, I would have 2 cups of coffee, and mine are just regular coffee. I don't have anything extreme like, espressos or anything like that. Just 1 cup of coffee is like 80 milligrams. And I usually do, you guys, like light roast, low acidity because of my silent reflux situation. So I have like a special coffee that I always drink. Whereas like say Starbucks coffee is 150 milligrams per cup. That's what my husband likes. And it's a jolt to the system. And so, every now and then when I'm drinking my coffee and I switch and maybe go to Starbucks, I can taste the difference. Starbucks tastes like a cigarette. It tastes so strong and it jolts me where I can't even sleep for like 2 days. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely staying away from a Starbucks coffee. Like their decaf is probably 80 milligrams of caffeine. I don't know.
For real, it probably is. It's so crazy. All right, you guys, my tofu scramble is done. I took a picture. I'll post it on Instagram and also in the tribe. But it's so good. I also added some cilantro because I had cilantro. So I'm up to a lot of plant points. You guys have to go back and like listen and see how many I'm at. It's a lot.
Anyway,
and blueberries, good antioxidants, good for anti-aging. Your girl is hungry. I can't wait to eat this.
All right, Jackie, we're going to let you eat your food. Put your goals in the comment. We want to hear. And then how did you achieve your last week's goals? Like, did it happen? You heard my goals about caffeine, alcohol, and sugar eliminated. And guess what? Energy levels soared. I feel way better. And at the end of the day, it just made me a different person. Now, think about all the drugs like you put in your system that are legal. Alcohol, sugar, caffeine. I was putting those in. And now I'm like, now I feel like, oh, like this veil has been lifted. Like, I'm like, oh, I can do this. Cause I'm gonna tell you for the first 2 weeks of the struggle, I'm like, am I going to be able to do this? Like I was doubting myself every step of the way.
No, you are strong. And you guys, that's right. I stopped refined sugars for Happy New Year. We're going into week 3 of Happy New Year. So I've been 2 weeks without refined sugar. And I also feel amazing. I'm still drinking coffee. Your girl's drinking caffeine. Maybe one day I'll start working on decreasing that. But refined sugar is good for me right now.
You got to work. You have to pick your own battles.
That's right. That's right. I'm choosing my hard right now.
Yeah. So what are you jiving with? Like what it seems like the low hanging fruit seems easier that you can commit to. So okay. Well, happy Monday. Thank you for joining us. And if you're just listening, go back to listen to the replay of this and see how Jackie made her yummy, delicious plant chicks tofu. So
so good. All right. You guys have a great day. We can't wait to see your goals.